Hey, it's Mark with Mark's Dodgers Cards. You may notice some cards missing up here, and that's because I've taken my Zack Wheat cards out, and I'm going to make a video where I'm going to show all 33 of my vintage Zack Wheat baseball cards. I did a video about a year ago where I showed my Zack Wheat cards, and I've gotten a bunch since then, so I thought I'd do another video where I show my Zack Wheat collection, how the progress is coming along. I started collecting Zack Wheat in 2021, I think April or May, I got my first one. And I did because he's the all-time leader in many offensive categories for the Dodgers. Singles, doubles, triples, total bases, and he's also in the top 5 in several other offensive categories. So as I was learning more about the history, I wanted to get cards to memorialize this first Dodgers superstar. So I started collecting them. And I'm pretty happy with the way the collection is going. There's still a long way that I have to go, but I'm really enjoying them. I also want to give a couple shout outs to two channels that have done great videos on Zack Wheat. Mike with Jayhawker Cards produced a very nice video where he talks about Zack Wheat and his connection to his family. And that was a great video. Recommend it, and the link will be below. And also Dan of Dan's Vintage PC interviewed a guy who's got an amazing Zack Wheat collection, way more extensive than mine, named Greg, and showed off a bunch of his collection. That's also linked below. So anyway, I hope you enjoy these, seeing these cards and hearing a little bit more about them. I go through them pretty quickly. And I basically just talk about, their population and things like that. But anyway, without any further ado, I'll turn the camera around and show you my 33 Zack Wheat vintage cards. 28 of them are playing days cards. All right, take a look. All right, here we go. The first one I'm going to show is this 1909 to 1913 Sporting News supplement. You can see it's a very large card. And yeah, these are very thin and they tear very easily, so it's hard to find them in good shape. I was fortunate enough to get this one on eBay, and you can see it is in pretty nice condition. This is the same image that's on his Cracker Jack card, and there's not many of these graded. SGC, as you can see, it's a blank back. SGC doesn't grade these, and PSA has graded 11 of them, and Beckett's graded 5 of them. I'm sure there's a lot that are ungraded, but anyway, just leave that one aside. Then we have what's generally regarded as his rookie card, the T206. We go, there's hundreds of these. These are not rare cards. So here's a Piedmont back. Then we've got the T205. This is one that I picked up at the National, I believe, a couple years ago. And anyway, I like this example. There's very minimal chipping. Again, there's hundreds of these. These are not rare either, but it's nice. Then we have this one. This also is not really super rare. This is the T201 Mecca double folder with Zack Wheat and Bergen. And this one, there's 324 graded across SGC and PSA. By the way, the SGC pop report is kind of nutty because they have some of the issues are listed multiple times. So it's kind of hard to total up how many really are available. Here's the 1912 T207. The brown background. This is a Recruit little cigars here. I was really happy to get this one. I did a video on it recently. These ones, there's about 200 that are graded across PSA and SGC that I could tell anyway. All right, next up we have the 1912 Hassan. This is again, I really like these cards. You got the picture in the middle and the portraits here. Anyway, so this one again, not a really rare card. I got like a 189 graded across PSA and SGC. All right, this is a recent pickup that we're beginning to get into the more rare cards, or less frequently graded cards. This is the Tom Barker game card in a SGC 3. There are 41 graded across PSA and SGC of this, and I really like the back. They look really cool. So there's that. Next up, we've got the team card, the Fatima team card. This also has a young Casey Stengel on it, which is kind of cool. And yeah, let's see, how many of these are there? Where did I put this one? Yeah, there's 244 of these graded across PSA and SGC. So again, not a really rare card, but these cards are really cool. I really like these team cards. Next up, we have the most valuable card in my collection, the one I use for my channel, Icon, the 1915 Cracker Jack Zack Wheat in an SGC 3. These have really gotten more expensive. I got this a few years ago, and it's really, these have ballooned in value. A 2 recently went for, I think, around $11.50 in an auction. So I did not pay close to that for this. Anyway, beautiful card. Really like that one. All right, next up, we've got the 1916 M101-4. This is a blank back. A lot of them have sporting news backs, and there's lots of different backs for these, but this is my one example. From what I could tell of the blank backs, there's 11 graded across PSA and SGC, but I may be off about that, but that's what I got. And here you can see the blank back. By the way, this is an old SGC grade, and most of the time I think they're pretty accurate, but this one I think is probably closer to a 2. All right, this is the first Zack Wheat card that I got. This is the 1919 and 1921 W514, and there are 73 of these graded across PSA and SGC. It's a blank back. Next up, this is another strip card. This is the 1920 W520, number 8. And this one is a little harder to come by. There are 16 graded across PSA and SGC, and it took me a while to find an example. I've seen better copies, but I didn't want to pay what they were asking for that. So here we go. And again, it's another blank back card. Here's a 1920 W522, another strip card. And let's see, this one, there's 15 graded across PSA and SGC. And I think this is hilarious because he's got a pitching stance or positioning. And of course, he was not a pitcher. I'm gonna leave the Cracker Jack one there for a while. All right, here we go. Here's the 1921 to 1923 National Caramel. And yeah, just really like this pose of him on this. And yeah, there's 23 of these graded across PSA and SGC. Oh, I should show the back. All right, next up is a larger card, the 1921 exhibits. This is one of 2 exhibits cards I have for Zack Wheat. His 1921 exhibits, there are 78 graded across PSA and SGC, and yeah, I really like this image. It's very similar to this one. Yeah, maybe, I think it looks like it's from the same picture, maybe even. All right. And these are blank backs. All right, now we've got the 1922 American Caramel Series 120. This image also is used with lots of different backs. So I haven't really gone after the backs of the T206s. There's a bunch of different backs there. I haven't gone after all these backs, although I do have one other that I'm going to show. But again, this is one of the poses that you see quite often in a number of these cards because there's a bunch of different backs of this version. Yeah, there's 52 of these graded across PSA and SGC. But this one is one of the backs that I was talking about. I've showed this card before a couple of times, but this is my 1922 Whitmore Candy Zack Wheat. Use the same image, but this is Whitmore Candy, and this is a population 2 across PSA and SGC, and this is the only PSA copy in existence. So there it is. Now here we go, the 1922, a lot of issues in 1922, W575/2. This is one of the higher graded cards, and also it's a different image than a lot of the other ones, which is kind of neat. In this one, there are 14 graded across PSA and SGC, and I don't think there's any higher than a 4. I may be wrong about that. There are other 4s, but anyway, for what it's worth. I don't really pay too much attention to that kind of stuff, but I just think it's kind of fun when you do have something like that. Here's another 1922 card, W573. This again is one of the higher graded ones. There's one higher graded by SGC, and there's a few higher by PSA, but again, it's one of the nicer examples that I have in my collection. Got another blank back card. Here's a 1923 W572, another hand-cut card, another strip card. This one is population 40 across PSA and SGC, and another blank back card. This is kind of a neat one. This is the Willard Chocolates Zack Wheat. This one, there's a population of 14 across PSA and SGC. And I love this image of him just catching the ball there. Anyway, yeah, it's another blank back card. That's what they look like. Another strip card, Zack Wheat. This is the 1923 W515-1. And this is a little more common one. There's 66 of these graded across PSA and SGC. And in SGC, there's 2 of them that are a higher grade than this one. Let's see, where are we? 1923 still. This is the German transfers. This is a kind of it's like a stamp. Yeah, the companies grade these things. There's 29 of them graded across PSA and SGC. Let's see, where are we? 1925, we've got Universal Toy and Novelty. This is kind of a cool set. The cards came in a big sheet, and then you could cut them up. I know a guy who's actually got the whole sheet, which is really cool. There's also Dazzy Vance's arguable rookie card is also in this set. In terms of the ones that are cut out, there's 14 that are graded across PSA and SGC, and it's also a blank back. Let's see. Then we've got the 1925 exhibits card. Here it is. And this one, there's much more scarce than the 1921 exhibits. I was able to find 12 across PSA and SGC of this card. And it's also blank back. The back is, you can see why it got it too. It's from this thing up here. Let's see. Now we've got this one, 1925 to 1931, W590, also another strip card. This one, there's 15 population. And then we've got 2 more playing days. I would call them cards, kind of. The tobacco blankets. These are from 1914, and they came in green and blue. And I don't think any grading company puts a numerical grade to these. I think Beckett will authenticate them, but I have no interest in any of that. So I just keep them how they are. All right, let's put these over here. All right, now I have a few post-playing days cards that are still, I would call vintage, since they're 1980 and earlier. We've got the 1960 Fleer, 61 Fleer. Also, this 61 Fleer, this is a checklist card, but it's kind of cool because it's Zack Wheat alongside Ty Cobb and Frank Home Run Baker, so that's kind of a neat trio. And we got the 1976 Shakey's Pizza. They made a series of cards, and Zack Wheat had one. And then this is all-time Dodgers from TCMA. And yeah, there it is. So that is my Zack Wheat collection. Actually, I can, yeah, oops. That's my Zack Wheat collection. And still a work in progress. There's a lot of other ones that are out there that I'd like to get. There's also some pins and other things like that. So definitely going to keep going with this. I haven't decided whether I'm going to try for all the different backs from T206 or some of those other variations, but we'll see. Anyway, this has been a pretty long video, so I'll call it here, and thanks for watching.